Today in the show, Real Madrid launches official negotiations with Manchester City over Rodri in what promises to be one of the summer's biggest transfers. Meanwhile, Xabi Alonso snatches Danny Welbeck for Chelsea, and Neymar stages a walkout at Santos as he packs his bags. And today's surprise news, Al-Nassr is hit with a transfer ban over debts totaling 200 million euros. Have the Saudis run out of cash? We talk about all this and much more right now. Rodri has moved closer to a transfer to Real as the Madrid club made a direct inquiry to Manchester City for the first time and kicked off official verbal discussions. President Florentino Pérez gave the final green light for the midfielder's transfer, despite having blocked the move for a long time. The situation is developing rapidly. The Ballon d'Or winner himself refuses to sign a new contract with the citizens and has made it crystal clear that returning to his native Madrid to represent the Merengues is his ultimate priority. The decisive mental and tactical trigger in this story was the conclusion of Pep Guardiola's decade-long era at Manchester City. The manager served as the player's primary mentor and anchor figure, so following his departure and the appointment of Enzo Maresca, the emotional attachment to the English project evaporated. Having captured every possible trophy with the citizens, including the Premier League, the Champions League, and the treble, the Spaniard felt a natural historical cycle coming to an end. For Real, signing the Spain national team captain represents an opportunity to fill the void in central midfield left by the departures of Toni Kroos and Luka Modric. They acquire a system metronome who will free up Vinicius Jr., Kylian Mbappe, and Jude Bellingham in attack while bolstering the team's Spanish identity. Currently, Real has expressed a willingness to shell out a fee in the region of 50 to 60 million euros for the midfielder. However, Manchester City considers such a valuation an underestimation for the best player of the 2026 World Cup and expects compensation closer to 80 to 100 million euros, or will attempt to stall for time to gauge interest from other suitors. Despite the pricing rift between the clubs, personal terms present no obstacle, and the player's firm desire makes his move to the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium the primary scenario for his career path. Randal Kolo Muani will arrive in Turin in the coming hours to undergo a medical examination and sign a contract with Juventus. The clubs have finalized a loan deal with an obligation to buy, with the overall financial package estimated between 35 and 40 million euros. The forward rejected all options to continue his career in the Premier League, insisting exclusively on a move to join the Turin side. The main catalyst in accelerating the transaction was the stance of PSG manager Luis Enrique, who does not count on the Frenchman for the upcoming season, forcing the Parisians to clear wage bill space as quickly as possible. In parallel, Juventus is keeping an eye on Manchester United forward Joshua Zirkzee, whom the Turin side initially viewed strictly as an alternative plan B should talks for Kolo Muani collapse. Following Dusan Vlahovic's exit, the Turin club freed up significant wage bill space, which theoretically opens the door for a simultaneous signing of the Dutchman. However, such a double transfer remains unlikely, as the Turin side's financial budget has strict boundaries. The club's management must allocate funds wisely, as signing a first-choice goalkeeper represents their top market priority right now. Despite Manchester United showing flexibility and willingness to consider a loan with an option to buy, and Joshua Zirkzee being well acquainted with Serie A from his performances for Bologna, Turin will in no rush table an official bid. A move for the Dutchman will only materialize if the financial parameters of the goalkeeper deal leave room for another forward on the wage bill. Thus, Juventus is focusing on finalizing the transfer of Randal Kolo Muani and securing a goalkeeper, leaving the Zirkzee option merely as a fallback. Danny Welbeck moves to Chelsea, agreeing a 2-year contract with the London club until June 2028. The 35-year-old forward personally appealed to the Brighton hierarchy to let him go for this opportunity, after which the clubs reached a full agreement on a modest compensation fee. Last season in the Premier League proved to be the most prolific of the striker's career, with 13 goals scored, making him Brighton's all-time top scorer in the top flight. In parallel, Chelsea is finalizing the signing of another veteran, 36-year-old Jordan Henderson, who is terminating his contract with Brentford to join the Londoners as a free agent. Head coach Xabi Alonso is deliberately shifting the club's transfer focus from simply purchasing young talent to adding mentorship and leadership experience. Following spells at Manchester United and Arsenal, Danny Welbeck, alongside Henderson, is tasked with establishing a sturdy core in the dressing room, helping the youth master composure and discipline in crucial matches. Tactically, Xabi Alonso values Welbeck for his quality, pressing, ability to hold up long balls, and attacking versatility. The forward is expected to undergo a medical shortly before joining Chelsea's preseason tour in Hong Kong. The potential arrival of an experienced striker for rotation in the Premier League and Cup competitions will significantly impact the attacking roster, as Marc Guiu and David Datro Fofana prepare to explore new options due to stiff competition from Welbeck and João Pedro. Franco Mastantuono has expressed a desire to return to River Plate, so the Argentine giant has already initiated official contact with Real regarding his loan. The 18-year-old midfielder supports a return to his parent team, relying on guaranteed playing time and performing in a familiar environment. However, the Madrid hierarchy is not thrilled with the idea of sending their academy product back to South America, prioritizing his gradual adaptation to European football instead. Currently, Real holds concrete loan inquiries for the midfielder from clubs in La Liga, Serie A, the Bundesliga, and the Portuguese Championship. The Madrid side wants the footballer to adapt to the tempo and physical demands of European competitions. A return to River Plate will become possible only if the player stubbornly insists exclusively on an Argentine career path. Neymar finds himself at the center of another public scandal at Santos, taking it upon himself to abandon the club's training facility after breakfast and a brief photo shoot. The 34-year-old forward completely ignored a recovery session designed by the coaching staff for starting lineup players following the latest match day, sparking a wave of outrage among management and supporters. Respected Brazilian outlet Globo Esporte notes that such walkouts make extending the forward's deal virtually impossible. Neymar's active contract with Santos runs until December 31, 2026. So as early as December, he can and evidently will depart the club as a free agent. Having returned to his parent team in early 2025, the Brazilian possessed colossal motivation and worked frantically, pushing his recovery from severe injuries to represent the Brazil national team at the 2026 World Cup. However, following their World Cup exit and the official announcement of his international retirement, the player has completely lost any incentive for grueling work. His daily routine is accompanied by conflicts with younger teammates in the dressing room, disciplinary breaches, and irritation over managerial demands, as he no longer retains any sporting ambition in Brazil. The sole realistic career continuation scenario for Neymar remains a move to MLS, specifically to Inter Miami, where he can reunite with friends Lionel Messi and Luis Suárez in David Beckham's project. Performing in the United States would allow him to avoid intense fan pressure and an exhausting training routine, focusing instead on media commitments and playing in a comfortable environment without excessive physical loads. If a move to the United States fails to materialize for any reason, Neymar is highly likely to hang up his boots for good, drawing the curtain on a brilliant yet controversy-filled professional career. Write in the comments whether Neymar should join Lionel Messi at Inter Miami or if it's better for him to officially retire right now. But let's move forward. News has just broken that nobody saw coming. Al-Nassr has received a transfer ban from FIFA over debts nearing 200 million euros. Have the Saudis really run out of money, or what is actually going on with Cristiano Ronaldo's club? Currently, Al-Nassr is barred from registering any new signings until financial matters are fully resolved by FIFA's decision. Despite the vast wealth of Saudi football, the situation arose not from a lack of funds, but from administrative negligence and missed legal deadlines. The 200 million euro sum accumulated due to systematic payment delays for past transfers to other clubs, notably to Leicester for Ahmed Musa, as well as to Sporting, Manchester City, and agents for commissions and bonuses. Furthermore, Al-Nassr significantly inflated its wage bill for Cristiano Ronaldo, Sadio Mané, Aymeric Laporte, and Marcelo Brozovic, breaching the budget ceiling of the Saudi Pro League. This prohibition is not indefinite and will be lifted immediately once funds are transferred to the creditors' accounts. However, for the entire Saudi Pro League, which is trying to build a positive international image, such a scandal surrounding the country's champion dealt a noticeable reputational blow. So it turns out the Saudis have so much money they don't know how to count it and managed to misplace 200 million somewhere. Mauricio Pochettino is close to signing a new contract and extending his tenure as manager of the USA national team through the 2030 World Cup. Barring sudden shifts in position between the parties, the 54-year-old manager will remain at the helm of the national team for the upcoming qualification cycle. The federation hierarchy is completely satisfied with the partnership and seeks to ensure long-term stability in the project's development. His active contract was structured over a shorter distance, but renewal negotiations have already reached the home stretch. Pochettino views the potential of the current roster favorably and sees promise in further shaping the team. All that remains for the parties is to iron out the final legal details ahead of an official announcement regarding the signing of long-term paperwork.